Sometimes you wish you could go back in time and wipe your mind. Hi, I'm Lucy, 32 years old, and my mother in law Daphne, 54 years old, moved in with me and my husband Chris, 32 years old, into our home almost 4 months ago after she had separated from her husband Paul, 58, after 2 decades of marriage. No one in the family knows precisely why they didn't work out. I have asked my husband many times, and he always tells me he knows nothing. For the first few months of living with us, his mother would cry herself to sleep. We could hear her through our walls because of how loud her sobs were. Not to mention, the following day her eyes were always red. She tends to avoid me, which I wouldn't mind if I hadn't noticed she's normal around my husband and her other children and their significant others. It's just me in particular. She doesn't get fancy with. One night before bed, I decided to ask my husband about it.
Lucy, don't be crazy. My mom loves you.
I'm sure she does. I mean, she's not rude to me, but she's always in her room when you're not home.
Maybe you remind her of marriage. We just got married 6 months ago, and what just happened? Dad ended things 2 months later.
That's silly to compare. Your siblings have wives and husbands. What makes me different?
As I said, we just got married.
Maybe he had a point, but I was still saddened that she didn't like to be around me. I tried to do nice things, such as buying her favorite tea, ensuring she was always fed, and asking if she would like to take a walk down the park with me. She always said no. I don't know how long she's planning on living here, but I was hoping sooner than later because her bedroom is supposed to be the nursery. Chris and I were planning on starting a family, but we had to stop for the sake of taking care of his poor mom's broken heart. Other than the baby, I didn't mind having her live with us. That was until I found out why she didn't like me. Chris's sister Betty came over with her 2 kids for dinner. It was Chris, me, Betty, the 2 kids, and Daphne sitting around the table enjoying the company. Chris suddenly got up from his seat and excused himself. He came back a few moments later with a box. Oh, Chris, you shouldn't have, Betty teased.
Oh, you're hilarious. Here you go, sweetheart.
My husband said, handing me the box. Um, what's the occasion?
Well, with my work kicking my butt, I know that I missed our 6 month anniversary, and I wanted to make it up to you for our seven and a half.
I opened the box and found a beautiful floral dress. I have been eyeing this for a few months, but I haven't collected the money for it. Oh, Chris, you shouldn't have. Thank you. That is so beautiful. I looked out of the corner of my eye and witnessed Daphne's glum expression. When she noticed me, she gave me a half smile. How lovely, she said weakly. After dinner, I went upstairs to hang the dress up so it wouldn't collect wrinkles. The family sat around in the living room except for my mother in law. She randomly disappeared. She often did that, so I paid it no mind. While sitting and talking, Betty told my husband and me she was going on a date the following week. She asked if I could borrow some jewelry. Betty hasn't been on a date since the children's father, and that didn't end so well. I, of course, said yes and went up to my bedroom. There, standing against the closet, was my mother in law. Why are you in my bedroom? What? Why are you in my bedroom? I just wanted to take a look through your closet. You have such a beautiful dress. I didn't know that would be such a bother. It's not. We stood there awkwardly for a few seconds before she went back downstairs. I don't know why I said it wasn't a bother because it kind of was. After Betty and her kids went home, my husband and I went straight to bed. For the most part, I'm a light sleeper, so when I heard my closet door open, my eyes shot open. There, standing by my closet, was Daphne, and she was looking right at me. I was mortified considering how late and dark it was. I couldn't even speak. Instead, my mother in law shut the closet door and exited the room. I didn't sleep well for the rest of the night. When my husband woke up the following day, I told him what I saw.
My mom? You must be joking.
Why would I joke like that? I saw her lurking in our room. As soon as I said that, Daphne came downstairs. Daphne, can we talk for a second? Good morning to you too. Can't I get a cup of coffee first? Why are you pretending I didn't see you last night? What are you talking about? In my bedroom? By my closet? Oh my lord, you're still on about me looking through your closet after dinner? What? No, I saw you in the middle of the night. Oh dear child, no, that wasn't me. Did you have a nightmare? I don't know. It sounds like it. You must really not like people admiring your wardrobe if you're dreaming about it. No, that's not it. She had somewhat convinced me that it was simply a bad dream, but I still had suspicions. The next couple of nights, I had trouble sleeping, which was kind of a good thing because I was able to stay up and see if my mother in law did come into my room at night. But after weeks went by and nothing came of it, I soon forgot about the incident. Things didn't get weird again until it was my husband's promotion dinner. He wanted me to wear the dress he bought. I did so gladly, having stared at it long enough. The problem was, it didn't fit. It was too stretched around my waist. Babe, I thought you knew my dress size.
Of course I do. It's a 4.
And lo and behold, once I looked at the tag, it did read 4, and it was from the same brand I usually shop at. I inspected the dress and noticed that the waist looked as if someone who's a little bigger decided to try it on. Oh, honey, you didn't notice that this dress was defective.
What? No, that can't be.
He took the dress between his hands and saw what I saw.
That's impossible.
Oh, well, I dug out another outfit with little concern as I pegged that my husband was absent-minded. I should have believed in him. We had fun that night. We haven't gone out like this in a while because of his mom's divorce. However, when we got home, his mother was surprisingly sitting on the couch facing the front door. She looked rather upset.
Mom, you okay?
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be? She snapped.
Oh, what's wrong?
She hung her head low before condescendingly shaking her head. You know, I have been having a difficult time since your father left me, and I know it's been a few months, but I'm still not okay. I would have enjoyed going out with you two or just you for dinner. I mean, you got a promotion. I would have loved seeing you accepted.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I don't know what to say. Lucy and I barely go on dates as it is.
Yeah, it's my fault you guys don't go on dates. Well, kind of, yes.
Lucy.
Well, if we are open and honest about it, we deserve a night out solo, and I'm not going to apologize for that, and neither should you, Chris. Wow, just say you wish I wanted to move out, why don't you? You have no idea what I'm going through. Before either of us could say anything, she stood up and entered her room.
I don't know why you had to say all of that. You know she's going through a hard time as it is.
Well, I don't understand why she was trying to make us feel bad for going on date night. If she's allowed to share her feelings, so are we. Chris didn't say anything, only rubbing his eyes out of frustration. His mom now avoided me at all cost. This is where things get weird again. The next day, I put on my work clothes, which consisted of dress pants and whatever nice blouse I had washed. I work as a receptionist at a law firm. I have worn this blouse hundreds of times, and it's always been perfect around my chest and waist area, but today it was stretched, and what was worse, in the armpit part, it felt moist. I never sweat this easily. I took off the shirt and inspected it. The blouse was stretched beyond belief. Worst of all, there were wet spots at the pit. I checked my arms, and as expected, I wasn't sweating. I pulled another blouse and it had the same issues. I was running late to work, so I didn't have time to figure out the problem. I dug all the way to the back of the closet and found a salvageable shirt. I was deeply alarmed though. Why were my clothes like this? There was no logical explanation. Unless someone decided to wear my clothes and stretch them out on purpose? When I went to work, I began to think about what could be the explanation. I had a crazy thought. Maybe it was absurd. It had to be. The only other person in the house that was close to my size was my mother-in-law. She was a bit bigger than me. Why would she do that? That's crazy, strange, weird even. I decided to keep these thoughts to myself. I know I shouldn't have, but I wanted to give my mother-in-law the benefit of the doubt. That night, I stayed up late to see if my mother-in-law would enter my room. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay up long enough as sleep had overtaken me. When I woke up and started my daily routine, I noticed my toothbrush was wet. This paranoia was eating me alive. Could this be my mother-in-law? From stretching clothes, leaving pit stains, and sabotaging my toothbrush? I mean, why the hell is it wet? Again, as I was getting ready for work, I was putting on my undergarments. This is where I drew the line. My underwear was stretched as I pulled them up. No. This woman did not just put on my clean underwear. I took them off immediately and took a whiff. Chris! He rushed upstairs, spilling his coffee all over his front shirt. Baby, what's wrong? Your mother. What? I know this is going to sound crazy, and maybe it is, but I don't care. Your mother has been wearing my clothes, including my underwear, and using my toothbrush. This woman has a vendetta against me.
Why would you say that about my mom? She would never do something like that.
Come on, don't pretend you don't notice how she's around me.
My mother loves you.
Where is she? I need to talk to her.
Lucy, I swear to God, if you bother my mother with your delusions while she is still in a state of despair, you and I will have to be questioning how long this marriage will last. My mother is my rock. I hate seeing her in pain, and what my dad did to her. Please, unless you have definite proof, I don't want to hear it.
I do. The clothes are stretched. They smell.
That could be the washer. Maybe we need a new one.
I left it at that, knowing anything I said, he would counter. How had I not realized he was a mama's boy? Explains why she decided to move in with him rather than his other siblings. If he wanted proof, then I would give it to him. That night, I went to the nearest store to find some sleuthing equipment. 2 hidden cameras. Check. Speaker? Check. That's all I needed. I came back home with 2 fake fast cameras. Daphne, I got you a plant. It would freshen and lighten up your room. Why?
Mom, Lucy's trying to be nice.
Okay, thank you, she said, turning back to the TV. I could tell in Chris's eyes that he was noticing her behavior shift. I guess I'll put this in your room for you? I put one camera on my bedside table facing my closet, and then I went to my mother's
see.
room and did the same. I was tempted to check her closet if she was secretly holding anything for me. But my husband called me from downstairs for dinner, and so I abandoned that idea for another time. I surprisingly slept soundly that night as I knew I was getting answers very soon. I didn't even bother looking at the front of the closet and dug at the back for clothes. Before heading off to work, I checked the footage on my phone. Unfortunately, she didn't visit our room. As I was driving to work, I was doubting myself if maybe I was running delusions in my head. I could barely keep up with my work. My mind was buzzing with anticipation. This all changed when I checked the camera footage once again during my lunch. Lo and behold, my mother-in-law entered my bathroom. I put on some earbuds to hear the audio. I could hear an electric type of sound, something similar to an electric toothbrush. I wanted to hurl. I wonder how often she did this until I caught her. She exited the bathroom and went toward my closet as expected. Daphne dug further and further into the back of my closet. Randomly, she began to hum to herself with a sing-song tune. I watched in surprise and horror as she stripped from head to toe with only her undergarments on and stretched out my blouse and skirt. The ribs could be heard and she grunted and groaned out of frustration. Of course, he would love you. He likes what he sees. She laughed bitterly to herself, but that laughter soon turned to sadness, and I began to hear her cry. She sat on my bed. Mom would be so proud, huh, Daphne? That you couldn't keep your husband because of his lustful gaze. She acts innocent, friendly, and sweet, buying me a vase as if that will change anything. What in the world? Does she think I had an affair with her husband? No, that can't be. What proof did she even have? Oh well. She sighed, looking in the mirror and inspecting herself. Instead of giving me clarity, this only gave me more questions. I went to my boss and told her that I wasn't feeling so good and that I would like to go home early. She agreed begrudgingly but wished me well. I flirted home, hoping to catch her in the act and solve this mystery once and for all. I parked down the street so she wouldn't hear me entering the garage. Slowly and steadily, I entered the house, checking my live camera to see where she was. Daphne was still on my bed, staring into the mirror in front of her. I took a second to breathe before entering my bedroom. Her eyes snapped to me in shock. What are you doing here so early? Instead of answering her, I asked, what in the world are you doing? This is so humiliating. She cried, covering her eyes with her palms, and the tears were back at it again. Daphne, why are you doing this? You really want to know? I stayed silent. My husband, ex-husband Paul, when we were together intimately, this is so embarrassing. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. It's none of your business. She snapped. I am making it my business? You are going through my belongings, stretching my clothes, and making me look like a lunatic. I deserve answers. Fine. When Paul and I were intimate, he said your name. Oh, Lucy, and my heart shattered. I questioned it afterwards, and he acted like it didn't happen. I began to notice how he would look at you over dinner and how his eyes lit up. You're young, beautiful, and attractive woman. What wouldn't he like? Then he filed for a divorce, and I ended up here with the woman I despise the most. But I didn't do anything. Please, you like the attention. She scoffed. Oh, hell no. She's not going to be acting like this anymore. I'm sorry that I was indirectly at fault for your relationship, but this attitude and dressing my clothes using my toothbrush, it's done. You are going to stop. I'm going to give you a week to move out of the house. What? Why? Why in the hell would I let you stay here? I do not trust you. Chris would never let you, even if you tell him what you saw. I'm sure he wouldn't, but if he and the rest of the family take a look at the footage, you might want to rethink that. Her eyes shot open in sheer horror when I flashed my phone at her to show the live camera. She tried to reach for it, but I said, "The video is already uploaded to my email, so don't bother." I was lying, but that indeed got her scared. But listen, Daphne, I hate what you did, but I'm still sorry it happened. I think you need to seek mental help. She just scoffed, stripping my clothes off her body. I was going to throw them away anyway. My mother-in-law moved out a week after with little to no explanation to Chris. She stayed at her daughter's home. I felt terrible about the situation and decided it was in my best interest to tell my husband what had happened. He was stunned when he saw the footage. He and Betty decided to have an intervention with Daphne. She hasn't missed a day of therapy in a year. As for my father-in-law, we haven't spoken to him in 3 years.